Hi guys, PFL Swift here, and this time I wanted to talk about 5 Pokemon I feel are overrated in Draft League battles. First up, I want to talk about Dracovish. Now, in the start of Pokemon Sword and Shield, Dracovish was one of those highly sought after Pokemon. It had, at first glance, mediocre stats. Nothing really stood out. So a lot of people were caught off guard, especially in the early days whenever, with the mixture of Strong Jaw and the new move Vicious Ren, it could actually two-shot almost any Pokemon. Things like Toxapex, Duraludon, Ferrothorn, things that had no business two-shotting. And I know what you're thinking, it's like, that sounds pretty amazing, why would that be overrated? And it all came from basically realising that without hitting for water coverage, it basically struggled. So what we would do, we'd pick up a water absorb, storm drain, or dry skin, and that could pretty much shut it down. Things like Seismitoad, Quagsire, Gastrodon, Heliolisk all became more important to draft, and everybody had one. So you would basically bring in a top tier Rolls Royce Pokemon for your team, and it was being shut down by the lowest of tiers. Uh, the moving question Vicious Ren, which doubles its power, especially if you switch out, kind of works like analytic in a way. And so you would have basically dead weight in a team, and you can't just sit and watch your team struggle because you can't break the walls that were there to be broken. And so its lack of coverage as well. It can also get walled by Appleton as well with Thick Fat. So that's basically all there is to say about it, really. It was a one trick pony, and with the simplest of like pickups, you could basically shut it down. And that seemed to be a common theme for a lot of my overrated draft league Pokemon. Next, I want to talk about a Pokemon that tries to imitate one of the most powerful Pokemon in the game. Um, and who wouldn't? Most people try to imitate greatness, and we know they can only be one people's champ. And when it comes to trying to imitate others, you only ever become a shadow of what you're trying to pretend to be. The Pokemon I'm talking about is Mimikyu. And in draft leagues, fairies are definitely a must have. You always need them for type coverage, is a great one to go with Dragon and Steel. And a lot of them tend to be bulky, tend to be the ability to heal or clerics. Mimikyu kind of breaks the mold in that regard, where it can be a setup sweeper, a late game sweeper. It can generally get a free hit in with its ability Disguise. But in Gen 8 it got a bit of a nerf where when Disguise is broken, it also damages itself. So things like the double sub or the double sash strategy kind of took a hit as well. It also kind of has mediocre stats at best, where you know it 97 speed is best stat, which in itself, if that's gonna be your best stat, you want to be very fast. Being kind of fast just doesn't cut it. It's ghost fairy typing is decent defensively. Unfortunately, it didn't get like poltergeist in the new moves, so its most powerful stabs are kind of underwhelming in general, with Shadow Claw and Play Rough, which can tend to miss. So it kind of falls under par for what I would expect from a tier 2. You know, the likes of Drain Punch and Leech Life are nice for a little bit of recovery. Wood Hammer is pretty decent too, since Hidden Power has left the game. So you can still hit them bulky ground waters, but at the end of the day, for a tier 2, you want something that's either that's still going to be one of the best at what it does. Not something that kind of does something a little worse than everything else. So for that reason, I would say that it currently sitting in tier two in most leagues and sort of the higher up kind of echelon. I would call it middle of the road, lower tier at best. Saying that, it can. So number three on my list, I want to talk about one of my favorite design Pokemon in the game. It looks fantastic. It's just cool in general. Um, Quite intimidating. You know, it's really fast. It's very powerful. Some say it resembles Raiju, the something so mythically powerful it can control thunderstorms. And of course, I'm talking about Mega Manectric. And I know that Megas aren't in the game at the minute, but a lot of leagues do still tend to use them. You know, especially showdown leagues. Well, obviously showdown leagues, and it's got the potential to come back as well. We never know with Game Freak, realistically. Um, and I just don't personally get along with this Pokemon. I know a lot of people seem to love this little four-legged ridden puppy, but personally, I just feel that for all of the positives it has, its ability, it should on paper be able to come in, you know, scare something out, volt switch out, keep it going until everything's whittled down and you can finish off the team. But I find the biggest problem is, and especially with its coverage in general, that it's stopped by any sort of bulky ground type Pokemon. I mean, you could literally stop this thing with a Sand Slash if you really wanted to. It comes in, and realistically, they're going to look at the calcs and they're going to see if this thing's max HP, max special defense, I'm not hurting it, and it's probably going to hurt me back. So they're going to switch out, and like most ground types, either get spikes or rocks, and your momentum's completely gone. Normally, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can work around it, but when it's a high tier mega, that's something you could have a mega Lopunny for or a mega Pinsir. Um, you know, all those powerful options you could have, and it's basically went into something stocked by the most modest of Pokemon. You know, even a Stunfisk, which you wouldn't normally see, could stop this thing. And if you feel like your team is threatened by Mega Manectric at all, and someone has it, you're gonna pick up one of these, and literally just like Dracovish, for the cost of a tier 5 to shut down an opponent's All Star, you're gonna do it 100% of the time and give yourself the best chance to beat anyone who's using it. And for that reason, I honestly think you'd be better off just grabbing, I don't know, Heliodisc, for example. No, at least it's of course it's slower, but at least it can have the coverage to hit other things. Is what I'm getting. Now, following the theme of electric Pokemon, I want to talk about something with an absolutely ridiculous, unnecessarily high special attack stat. Whoever wired this one up definitely should have rearranged its circuitry and give it a bit more speed, basically. Sitting at 173. I'm of course talking about circuitry. As high as its attack is, most of its coverage seems to come from electric, grass, and fairy. So it's not very versatile in that regard, and it comes immediately evident that it's overrated once again when you can shut down its stab with its the bulky ground types again. It's personally too slow to the point where you would have to scarf it to get any use out of it, which then makes it predictable. Say you have a Volt Absorb, a Ground type, you can pretty much guarantee this thing's completely shut down from doing much damage to your team. And once again, with it being very high tier, I don't think you could make it lower tier with the special attack it has, but it again makes it less valuable than the other Pokemon in that tier, as you could have something that either synergizes well with your team or that has a similar kind of, maybe a bit less powerful, but probably a bit quicker. And you can't even utilize Circuitry's ability to boost its speed, unlike the likes of Nihilego, Cortana, who also get beast boost, but you can run certain EVs and natures to allow it to boost speeds on each knockout it gets. But unfortunately, Circuitry's speed is too low and its special attack so high that even if you were to run it jolly with 0 EVs, you're still not. It's still going to boost its special attack, and once again, makes it unnecessary. Okay, last up is probably the most controversial pick on my list. I've seen so many people love this Pokemon. It's immensely powerful, and when it first was released, it was pretty much one of the first pick things. Would go on every draft. In OU, it was talking about being banned. I can't remember if it actually was or not. I think it didn't quite pass the the vote. But I'm talking about the Dimension Jumping Genie that looks like a deranged carnival hula hooper trying to be a furry Ganondorf. And it's just raw power. It's gonna it's gonna smash things and leave them reeling. And it definitely is one of those Pokemons that you have to. It's hard to switch into, but unlike a lot of these top tier Pokemon, it has one glaring fatal flaw, which I think personally unforgivable in Draft League, and I'm obviously talking about. I'm talking about Hoopa U, Hoopa Unbound, and with its Psychic Dark typing, it gets the quad weakness to Bug and only 80 speed, which means it is fatally weak to bug attacks. One in particular, which is U-turn. So once again, because it's one of those top tier A-list Pokemon that you have to, that you're gonna look at your opponent's team and think immediately, I'm gonna prep for that. So you're obviously gonna bring your bulkiest defense and some sort of momentum, and then U-turn. Any Pokemon can get U-turn, you're probably gonna bring it. Any Pokemon gets bug coverage, you're probably gonna bring it. And if it sees a Pokemon that gets U-turn, 9 times out of 10, it probably has to switch out. Because even if you don't U-turn, like say you U-turn, um, even if he doesn't think, if he thinks you think he's gonna switch, you've no reason not to U-turn because it's just free momentum. You're either gonna kill the Hoopa or you're gonna get a better matchup into whatever comes in, and that just makes it kind of difficult to use, like unnecessarily difficult to use for when you're in round one and you're trying to pick something that you just click buttons, um, which it normally would do if it wasn't for that weakness, and the fact that its main weakness on its real side is a momentum move. So when people are drafting the likes of Kieran, McGierna, Zygarde, things you can just come in, take the hits, and devastate things. I feel like it just leaves this devilish devil genie with too many hoops to jump through. And that's basically my 5 overrated draft league Pokemon. If you feel like I've been unfair to these Pokemon, feel free to let me know in the comments below. down there. And happy for the discussion. I love it. It's the main reason I play Pokemon is everybody's unique and there's so many they can do so many things that we all have a different way of playing and it's amazing to talk about. The other thing is if you feel like there's Pokemon you've used that are overrated, please feel free to tell me as well. I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear your reason why. That's another big one. And of course, most of all, leave a like and see you in the next one, which should be my PFL draft team, which is one that's going to be a main feature in this channel, and probably one, if you enjoy draft leagues, I'm probably going to try and get all of the battles from other teams up. Whether there's commentary on them or not, I'm not sure, but it'll definitely be worth checking out. And until next time, stay creative.